Hi guys, welcome back to Cooking with the Salmons, and this is Greg. Now today I'm going to be teaching you how I make Jamaican style grater cake. Alright? Now as a child this used to be one of my favorite snacks. Alright? It's just mainly made of coconut, sugar, maybe a little ginger, alright, and water. So I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how it's done. But before we do that, just go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Hit that post notification bell as well so you'll be notified each time we post. Alright? And without further delay, let's get started. Okay guys, so these are the simple ingredients we're going to be using today for our grater cake recipe. Alright? And that's our Jamaican style grater cake. Or some people may call it pink on top. Alright? So first we have our coconut here. Alright? Husk taken out of the shell. We have our sugar. I'm going to be using a cup and a half. We have our water here. I'm going to be using 1 cup of water. We have ginger. This is optional. You can use ginger if you choose to, or you can decide not to. But most people use ginger as well. We have our food coloring, which is red. We're going to create that little pink top using the red. Just a little bit of red, and it will give that pink look. Alright, we also have our grater, which we're going to be using to grate our coconut. Alright, we're going to be using this side of the grater. Alright, not the extremely small side, but this side. Alright, and as you can see, I've done a part of it. I'm going to show you how to do the rest. We need to take the brown part of the back of the coconut. That's called the tester. This brown section here, that's called the tester. We need to remove that in order to make this dessert. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how we do that. Okay, so in order to remove the tester, you're going to just take your knife and just simply peel away. It's the most tedious part of the process, but you know, in order to make this particular dessert, we need to remove it. Alright, for the other coconut desserts, which is normally coconut drops, you'd leave this part on the tester on. But for the grater cake, you go ahead and just take your time and remove all the tester from the coconut until you only see the white flesh, okay? Okay guys, so now that I've removed all the tester or the brown part of the coconut, alright, I'm going to go ahead now and start grating the coconut. So we'll use this side of the grate as I mentioned earlier, and you just take your time and you just grate. But be careful, remember that this thing is really sharp, so you don't want your hands to be caught up in it, so be very careful, especially if you have never done this before. You just take your time and you grate until everything is all done. Okay guys, so at the end of grating, this is the consistency we should have, alright? And if you notice, this consistency is way finer than you would have had if you use the shredded coconut that you buy in the store. It does make a difference in terms of the texture. Some persons who cannot find actual coconuts may try to use the shredded coconut. You could. The only difference is that the texture would be a little bit different because those are in some long strands, while this is totally grated, as you can see here. All right. So now I'm going to go ahead and show you exactly how it's done. We're going to go over to the stove and we're going to show you how this is done. Okay guys, so it's best to do this in a Dutch pot, alright? So the thickness of the Dutch pot does help. So I'm going to go ahead first and add some water. Alright? And to that water, I'm going to be adding our ginger, alright? So the ginger, it has been washed and I split them in halves. And what I'm doing here is just to get the ginger flavor infused in the water. All right. Now I'm gonna bring this to a boil, and then I'll take the ginger pieces out. Then I'll add the coconut and the sugar. All right. Okay, guys. So now it's time to take the ginger out. And again, the ginger is optional. It's just based on your preference. If you like ginger, you could go ahead and add it. If you don't, then you can leave that out. All right. All right. So next, I'm gonna go ahead and add just a pinch of salt. Just a pinch. All right. Then I'm going to go ahead and add our sugar. And this is granulated sugar, all right? This dessert calls for granulated sugar. The aim is to get this sugar mixture to a syrup consistency. And just be mindful that you need to keep stirring so as not to burn the sugar, all right? And shortly, I'm gonna add my coconut. Okay guys, make sure your flame is on medium, and you can go ahead and add your coconut flakes at this point. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and keep stirring because we want the sugar to reduce and form a thick syrup, and that is what is going to combine or bind the coconut together to create this dessert. Okay guys, so we have achieved the consistency that we need. All right, now as I had mentioned earlier, you need to consistently, stay with this and stir it. If you notice, my coconut started to turn a little bit brown, all because I was looking for my parchment paper, which I thought I had, but unfortunately I don't, so I'm going to be using foil instead. All right, so next thing we're going to do is take a portion of this out, and we're going to be adding the coloring to that portion. About a third of the mixture. All right, and this is a small batch. Okay, the next step in the process is to add a tiny bit of gel food coloring. All right, and this is to be added to the portion that I had taken out earlier. All right, so we could mix it, and then based on the color we get, then we can decide to add more food coloring if needed. But we're looking for a pink, more of a pink color than red. Because traditionally this is known as grater cake, and some persons do call it pink on top. All right, so this color is perfect. So now I've lined my casserole dish with parchment paper, and I'm gonna go ahead now and scoop my coconut in. And this is a fairly small batch. It was a small coconut, but you know, if you decide to make a large batch, then you know you'll measure accordingly. Okay, and lastly, what we need to do next is to place the pink portion on top and just gently spread it out. Okay guys, and this is what it looks like. All right, so what we're gonna do at the end of it all, we're going to allow this to dry, and then we're gonna cut it into squares. All right, and I'll show you exactly what it looks like. All right, and this is grater cake. All right, now I did not have enough red to cover the entire thing, but that's fine as well. It's just color, it's just aesthetic and looks, but the taste is the same regardless of the color. Is the same taste. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get this done, and I'll show you as soon as it's dry. I'll show you exactly what this looks like. Okay guys, so now that our pastry has all been set, we're going to go ahead and just cut them into squares. The shape doesn't really matter, but traditionally we cut them into squares. Maybe I can do about 3 sets like that. So you just go ahead and just cut down the middle. And then I'll just do about 2 more cuts. All right, and there you have it, a grater cake. All right, and there you have it, grater cake made easy. Now if you gained any knowledge from this video, just go ahead and subscribe to our channel. Hit that post notification bell as well, so you'll be notified each time we post. All right, now if you do your grater cake another way, drop that in the comment section so we could discuss it. If there's any other recipe you'd like for us to try, just go ahead and drop it in the comment section and we'll be sure to get to it. Alright? And until next time, walk good, one love, and big up on yourself.